Hey there, Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies here, and somebody emailed me a question the other day, so I'd like to read it and do my best to give some thoughts on it. And the question centers around, do coaches solve problems or do they help their clients solve problems? So I'm just going to read through this and kind of answer as I go along. So that's the first question. Do coaches solve their problem? Do they help their clients solve their problems? Right, it's a big wondering of, do we have a sort of pre-made solution that we give them and the problem is solved, or do they kind of figure it out on their own and we're just there to hold space for them as they figure it out? I don't feel like it's either, and I'll explain why as we go through. So she said, trained by Coach Training Institute as a coactive coach, I feel it's the latter, and as a fairly rebellious, iconoclastic, contrary maverick, etc., etc., etc. Oh, and highly sensitive person, I don't do well with prescriptive, take my 3-step process to solve your problem. I prefer something which unfolds more organically as you go along. Great. That said, of course, I realize that in order to speak to them and build safety and credibility, in order to give them a sense of me or a particular coach, that we can help them, that you have to speak to their pain points and say or do something to show that you can help them get from where they are to somewhere better. Sorry, this may be a long way of asking, how do you do that in a way that is compelling yet not prescriptive, that frees the client from having to nail the details of their island B right from the outset, that frees the coach from having to say, I can solve your problem, when there is no such guarantee that you can solve the problem as such. Okay, so there's a lot in this. And this is a tricky one to answer in a short period of time. So let's go back to the basics. A client comes to you on island A, meaning they're struggling with some sort of problem. They're wanting island B, something they're craving. So this question is, do they have to have the island B nailed, basically, before they come to you? Can't they just come to you wanting better? The short answer is no. Otherwise, why are they paying you? And it's good to step back a little bit on this too, because sometimes when a client comes to you, the island A, the pain is more real for them. Sometimes it's the island B, the result they're craving is more real for them. And because sometimes, I've got back pain. The pain is very real, so that's island A. But an example I often use is, I want to go to Europe and spend a lot of time in Europe. And that's island B. It's not like Edmonton's terrible and I don't want to be here. It's not that. It's that I want to go there. So it's good to know what to speak to. Sometimes we speak to island A and the problem. Sometimes we speak to island B. But there's got to be some result, that they want. Now, if the challenge is excruciating pain, honestly, sometimes island B is just no pain. If you've ever had really acute, severe pain that persisted for a while, you know that the absence of pain is one of the best things you've ever felt. So there's always got to be that, though. If we're going to have any relevance in a conversation, there's got to be some island A and some island B. There's got to be something they don't like and something that they want, and they should have some clear idea of what that is. Even if that island B, the clearest they can get is no more pain. Yeah. So if that's the case, because otherwise, what are we coaching them for? What are we coaching them towards? This is the least compelling pitch there is as a coach. I can help you make your life better. In fact, I like to work with people whose lives are already great and just help make it better. It's the lamest pitch. Because if your life's already great, why do you want to hire a coach? Well, to make it better. Because there's always improvement. Yeah, but am I going to spend my money on that? Just think about your own life. Think about an area of your life that's going really, really well. Where you're like, finally, this is working. Is that the area you want to spend money? It's probably not. The squeaky wheel gets the grease and all that. So, okay, but let's say we've got that. Then, is it that we just kind of hold the space for them to figure out their way from island A to B? Or is it that we take them from island A to B? I want to suggest it's not this binary of those two choices, that the trouble is in the question itself. I think it's more something like this. They're on island A, and they want to get to Island B. They've probably tried to get there a few times and failed. And they don't know why. They're confused, like, why can't I seem to make this journey from A to B? And that's a very frustrating feeling. So your role is actually to be prescriptive a bit, but actually before being prescriptive, to be descriptive. What I mean is, your job is to say, okay, you're here and you want to get here and you've had troubles. Yeah, right. Here's why. You know, here's what you may not have noticed, is this swamp, or, you know, these traps that are laid here, or these mountains, you know, that's why it's been so difficult. You know, you've been trying to lose weight, but you didn't tend to this issue. You've been trying to get over your heartbreak, but you didn't think about this. You've been trying to make more money, and yet you were doing this. You know, and often these things, when we point them out to people, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think about that. Right, of course. But so we need to be descriptive. We need to, it is kind of diagnostic, is another way to say it. If they don't trust your diagnosis, they're not going to trust your prescription. So the first thing we need to do is give them a lay of the land. That when people come to us, there are three things that they're craving, which is its own video. The first thing people want is empathy. Yeah, just, you get it. Second thing that people want is context. And third is then guidance. But context is just, why has it not worked? Why am I struggling? Because it's hard enough to be struggling, but it's worse to be struggling when you don't know why. So the context is the describing. Here's the lay of the land between one island and the other. Here's why it might have been difficult that you didn't even understand why. And then people need guidance. People do want your opinion. They're not coming to you just to hold space so they can continue to mess up their life, you know, so they can continue to struggle. They're coming to you because they want your opinion. And in fact, they're coming to you because they already trust your opinion at some level. Maybe somebody just told them to trust it, or they've been following you excuse me, on social media. They read your book, they read a newsletter, and they already like your opinion. But what they're having trouble with is translating that opinion into their current situation. You know, it's been kind of theoretical and abstract, and they love it, and they love the stories and the case studies you've shared. But they're still wondering, how do I do that in my business? So that's why they're coming to you for guidance. And it's, of course, the guidance you're going to offer, it's not a guarantee. Because there's no such thing as controlling the future and knowing what it's going to be. But one of the ways I like to talk about it is you can say, look, okay, you're here and you want to be here. This is my take on how to make that journey best. This is, in my mind, the best fighting chance that you've got. Again, no promises. It's not for sure. But if I had to bet money on it, this is the approach I would suggest. That's what people are wanting. They want empathy. They want context. And then they want guidance. No, they don't want to be controlled. No, they don't want... And yes, people would love it if we just fixed their problems for them. And sometimes those things are possible. You know, somebody comes, fixes your computer, great. There are some issues where somebody from the outside really can just do an adjustment. And it's usually not the long-term fix. You know, so some of us are going to have things where we can do more of the fixing. Yeah, mechanic, you know. But humans aren't machines. And so it's often some combo of there are things that you can do, but there's a lot that they need to do. And there are things that got them into that pickle in the first place that you can help them understand, but that's part of the context. You see? So you see how you got here? Oh yeah, I'm seeing that this set of habits really created challenges for me. Right. So based on that understanding, here's how we get you from island A to B. And so a lot of this is covered in my ebook, Point of View Marketing. There's a whole point of view pyramid, 3 levels of it that go into this. So are we solving their problem? Or are we holding space for them to solve their problem? Again, I don't think it's either of those. I think it's that they're coming to us with a problem, wanting a particular result, and we are sharing our best opinion on the way for them to make that journey. At first, a high-level 30,000-foot view, and then if they're curious, we're sharing more particulars and helping them construct an approach to do it that they trust. So hope that's helpful. Hope that addresses the question. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below.